Hello, and welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
I'm William.
And we are here to tell you frightening tales from the great beyond, or Earth. Just frightening tales.
Mine's from Earth.
Mine's from Earth, too. Mine's very from Earth.
Mine's pretty from Earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
This tells people nothing.
Nope.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yep.
Week after week. We really appreciate it.
We do.
Last week we started something before we get to the monsters that I thought was kind of a smart way to do things.
Yeah, totally.
Podcasts have a lot of stuff going on. There are social media accounts everywhere. It's too crazy for us to try to throw all this information at the wall.
For us to be like, follow us and write us a review and do this and do that.
It's overkill, and we know that.
Yes.
I'm also a podcast listener.
Me
there
too.
are a lot of shows
I listen
that I
to a ton
like,
of podcasts.
and I don't always like leave reviews and stuff. I think there's just too much information flying around.
Exactly.
So instead, we're doing something a little more simple. Every week, we're going to pick one thing that we would really like for you to consider doing.
Yeah.
This week, we want to draw attention to the fact that we have a Patreon page just for this show, Guide to the Unknown.
Yep.
So if you go to Patreon in the app and look up Guide to the Unknown, or through a web browser, go to patreon.com/GTTUpod.
Yep.
You can contribute back to the show.
Yeah.
Obviously, it costs money to do this, to maintain this equipment, to set aside the time to do this stuff. So if you're into the show, if you like it, please consider tossing us a couple of bucks a month or something like that.
It's like giving us a tip.
Yes.
For something that you enjoy.
Yeah,
like we're your
exactly.
scary story bartenders.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that idea.
Oh, me too.
Like the listeners belly up to the bar and they're like, tell me a real good one.
Yeah.
We're just like,
And then
well,
they're
I'll
like-
tell you the story of Spooky Joe.
And they're like, all right, that one was worth a $5. Thanks.
They
Yeah.
flick 10 pieces at us, 10 pieces of gold or something. So that's Patreon.
Yep.
Download the app or patreon.com/GTTUpod. And that's just as a total, thank you for the show kind of thing.
Yeah, we'd super, super appreciate it. So thank you.
Yes, if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
If you're into, supporting things that you love.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Please let us keep
Yeah.
doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do it. Let's jump into
You go first.
to Monsterland. We're doing legendary creatures.
Yes.
We're getting back to the sort of monster lore of Guide to the Unknown. Kristen, I'm going to tell you a little story about well, I always try to come up with like a clever way to segue into the topic. I'm just going to tell you right away.
Give it to me
It's
straight.
time to talk about Gremlins.
Oh my God.
Gremlins.
It's a little close to mine.
I have heard that. There was a rumor that yours
Yeah.
is close to mine and mine is close to yours.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is kind of interesting.
Yes, that's good.
Totally coincidental. Kristen and I
Yeah.
try to keep this secret from each
Yeah.
other as much as possible.
I think we always do.
Yeah, there was one time that I think we both knew what we were going to do.
Oh.
Out of 9 episodes.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah.
But so, Kristen, right off the top of your head.
Yeah.
And understanding that Gremlins, the movie, I think is what everybody's going to think of.
Right.
There's gremlin lore. From
Yeah,
the
I
real
don't-
world of people that actually believe in gremlins.
Yeah.
What do you think you know about gremlins?
I really don't know much about them at all. That they're little.
Uh-huh.
That they're like. I really don't know. I think that they're little and they're fast. For some reason, that's in my head.
Okay. Do you know what they
move around.
want to do?
No.
Okay.
Now I haven't even seen Gremlins, the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I know about it.
Yeah.
Like I can visualize a gremlin.
Yeah.
I think they don't like water.
Yeah. Okay. That's a thing from the movie. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all I know.
The movie Gremlins are incredibly different from the quote unquote real world.
Yeah.
Gremlins.
Yeah.
And I'll even say right now, the reason why I picked Gremlins for this week is because it's snowy outside. We're entering the holiday season. Gremlins is a Christmas movie.
It is?
It is.
Really?
Yes, it is. And so I felt like it was sort of the proper time of year to talk about these mischievous little beasts.
Cool.
But once again, what people think gremlins are in real life is drastically different
All right, sweet.
from gremlins in the movie.
Cool, lay it on me.
It's actually somewhat recent. Well, kind of, sort of, if you count 100 years ago as being recent.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's not like some of the monsters where it's like thousands of years of information.
Right.
They seem to primarily have started around World War I.
Okay.
The rumors about gremlins.
Yeah.
And very specifically, gremlins are believed to mess with aircrafts.
Oh.
Very specifically. Now, I would have guessed.
So is that part of why Gremlins is a Christmas movie? Do they mess with Santa's sled?
Oh, first of all, it's a sleigh.
Oh. Wait, what's the difference? I just haven't really thought about it before.
A sled is a children's toy. A sleigh, you've got to be a pro. Aerodynamics.
Is a sleigh a real thing?
I think a sleigh is a real thing.
Okay.
I mean, I think that, like, you're not going to find people just riding around in sleighs all the time.
Yeah.
I think it's a real thing that's, like, real outdated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sleighs and sleds are this, whatever, doesn't matter.
They're basically the same.
The same? Okay. I was just genuinely not confused. Well, confused, but curious.
Yeah.
Curious.
Yeah. Well, you want to learn.
I want Tom here to learn. Okay, go ahead. As is everybody else about sleds and sleighs.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking for the audience.
So it seems, I would have said to you, what I knew about Gremlins is that they mess with mechanics, machinery, electronics. Mm-hmm. I knew that they were somehow mischief makers that would destroy stuff, but I thought it was like destroying, and like they would mess with your TV, they'd mess with your toaster. And an airplane is obviously mechanical and electronic. They'd mess with that too.
That's a big get for a gremlin then.
But this is like literally, it is airplanes, what they're known for messing with. So there are stories about gremlins having been blamed for, faults in the airplanes. Literally, like, landing gear won't go down. I bet a gremlin did it. Oh. But it really cranked up in World War II.
Okay.
WW2 accounts for a lot of gremlin lore.
That's so weird.
How strange is that?
That's such a recent thing.
Yes. Essentially, aviators, there are two schools of thought.
Okay.
One, some people blame gremlin sightings, because there are people that would go like, no, I saw a gremlin. I saw a gremlin do something.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, there was a crewman who gave testimony that he literally saw a gremlin mess up a plane, saying that he found, this is now a quote, he found, quote, a parted cable which bore obvious tooth marks in spite of the fact that the break occurred in a most inaccessible part of the plane.
What do they say gremlins look like?
They think that gremlins are really small, short, and some of the depictions I've seen, blue, humanoid creatures.
Okay.
They don't look like the big bat ears gremlins. They look like little pixies or something.
Huh.
Then he heard, quote, a gruff voice demand, "How many times must you be told to obey orders and not tackle jobs you aren't qualified for? This is how it should be done." And then the crewman heard a musical twang and another cable was parted.
What?
Yeah, so he testified that this is something he experienced. He heard this. So I guess gremlins are teeny, but they're like, Danny DeVito, this is how you bite through an airplane. Chomp.
My God.
Yeah.
Why was he testifying in the first place? What was going on?
I don't know that much.
Okay.
I don't know that much.
Yeah.
But so people are saying maybe stuff like that is, you can attribute it to stress of combat. Hallucinating due to exhaustion from traveling at dizzying heights. But there are also, it seems like gremlins were just sort of a metaphor for something went wrong.
Right.
Most likely a lot of these crewmen, a lot of these pilots.
I've kind of heard stuff like, gremlins must have gotten in there and whatever. Yeah.
And there's some theory that, if we're in the same troop, I don't know what airplane people do.
Yeah, I don't know.
In the same airplane flock.
Airplane club?
Air club.
Gang? Yeah.
Gang club.
Yeah.
If they're all working together, like shoulder to shoulder, trying to get this done, we've got to get these birds in the air. We got to go into combat and stuff. If something goes wrong, it's way easier and more friendly to be like, it's okay, man, I think a gremlin got it, than to be like, I think you screwed it up, Dan.
Yeah.
And I'm going to wring your neck. They'd just be like, I think it was a gremlin. So it was almost a way to smooth over any of the cracks.
Diffuse tension.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which I find that very interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
But then they keep up this kind of charade that gremlins are real?
Well, but I don't know that, again, like, there are people that seem to think that gremlins are literally real. But I would argue that the vast majority, and I've done no research on this.
Sure.
That the vast majority of people are like, Gremlins aren't real. This is just a way to not have us argue with each other. Mistakes are going to happen.
So then both parties in that understand that this is just a turn of phrase. Is what you're saying? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah,
based on nothing, I think so. Because I can't imagine that 100% of our World War II heroes are like,
board? Yeah.
We all believe in gremlins. I seen them.
Yeah. Nothing is ever anybody's fault.
Yeah. There was also a sort of belief that gremlins had Nazi sympathies, and that's why they were scrolling with the Allied forces planes.
Yeah.
But then they found out that Nazis were also having similar issues with their planes.
Oh my God.
So they were like, all right, so maybe they're just some rogue third group that's neutral on this, but hates us.
The Gremlins are neutral.
Hates us all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found on the Wikipedia for gremlin, look up, not the plural, look up gremlin, not gremlins to see this.
Yeah.
I found out that there were sort of warning signs, safety signs that would be hung up about gremlins trying to hurt you. So there's a poster here.
Awesome.
Gremlins think it's fun to hurt you. Use care always. Back up our battle skies.
It's amazing.
Amazing. Chaotic neutral. Yeah. So people believe that they were both anti-allies and anti-Nazis.
That's amazing.
There's another poster here. Gremlins are floor greasers. Watch your step.
Yikes.
And it's got these little gremlins pushing over a can of oil.
Earl.
I was trying to say it like Amy Sedaris. Earl.
Earl.
Back up our battle skies.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see their little pixie white kind of ghosty humanoid. They look like the Rice Krispies.
Oh my God, you're right. They do kind of.
They look like the Rice Krispies.
The guys.
The Rice Krispies.
Yeah. That band, the Rice Krispies.
Snurp, Crunkle.
Perp.
Knockoff Rice Krispie boys.
And there are so few creatures of folklore that are born of such a late time.
I know.
Yeah.
It's very recent.
Yeah.
To just be this is a new idea.
Right.
That just has been maintained to this day.
Yeah, because usually it's born of people, well, I guess this could partially, in a way, be it.
Yeah.
Maybe not understanding how the world works in a literal way. So then they come up with kind of explanations for it that are fantastical.
Yeah.
This is, close to our modern world. It was the 40s.
I know.
And yet gremlins pop up somehow.
Well, this even got me thinking because this, in retrospect, feels kind of like whenever a new horror movie tries to be like, there's a ghost that lives in the internet. And you immediately reject and you're like, this is lame, shut up.
Yeah.
But that's basically what this is. There were new machines around and we're like, all right, they never existed before, but the gremlins hate aeroplanes.
Yeah.
And we all accept it.
Right.
So maybe it's just nobody's come up with the proper way to do little monsters in the yet.
I guess.
'Cause it's the same exact thing. To be the world is becoming more advanced.
Yeah.
Here's a monster that deals specifically, almost exclusively with that new technology.
It's not really in that way it is, but it seems like gremlins were almost some sort of excuse for technology failure. When they're saying there's a ghost in the computer, it's not explaining why the computer glitches. It's just kind of a way to integrate ghost stories into a very now storyline.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I guess, but you could still use gremlins too, I think, today.
Yeah.
Be like, someone deleted my email, Dolores. I think it was a gremlin, not my layabout no good son.
If he's such a layabout, why is he going in?
Trying to keep the peace.
Going in and deleting email.
Because he bought a movie on his dad's Amazon account.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't want to know. Yeah.
I can make up anything.
Yeah.
Let's go straight to pop culture.
Okay.
There's not a ton of information about gremlins.
Not a ton of information about mine either, honestly. So
let's keep it light and breezy.
Yeah.
So Roald Dahl, who apparently fought in World War II, was very familiar with gremlin lore, which is a term that I...
Gremlore?
Like gremlore?
Yeah.
He wrote a book, his first children's novel, his first, was called The Gremlins.
Oh, I don't know about that.
He fleshed out the world of gremlins.
Yeah.
Gremlins live in fighter planes, according to him. Their wives are called Fifinellas. Their sons, literally male children, are called widgets.
Ooh, like that.
Female children are called Flibberty Gibbets.
Okay.
Now, I said this to my beautiful wife, Allie, who then goes, that's also from Sound of Music.
Yes, it is.
When they call Maria a will-o'-the-wisp, half a second earlier, they're calling her a Flibberty Gibbet. Yes,
totally.
So then I Googled the definition of Flibberty Gibbet.
Yeah.
And do you know what it means?
It's kind of like a flighty, like, you don't know what you're doing person.
Yeah, it's kind of like an airheady, excessively talkative woman. It's kind of a misogynistic kind of term.
Roald Dahl was kind of misogynist.
Yeah. So all female children are Flibberty Gibbets.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah. And only the boys grow up to be gremlins?
Weird.
You know? Like, I don't know. Is there some honor in wrecking the machinery?
Probably. I don't know. It's just like aggression.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. So the plot, loosely, teeny tiny. Gus, a pilot. The airplane is destroyed by gremlins. They have to parachute like out of the sky. His plane's like ripped apart by gremlins in midair. So he's like, and then it's just his seat in the sky. And they plummet to the ground. He convinces the gremlins that they should all join forces against a common enemy. Hitler.
Oh, wow. Well, not so chaotic, whatever, chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Anymore.
And then the gremlins are trained by the Royal Air Force to repair rather than destroy.
This is a kid's book?
Yeah.
Boy.
So it's almost like Monsters, Inc., where they scare children to get their screams to power their machinery. And at the end, they're like, laughter's much more powerful than screams. Let's make them giggle.
That's what happens in Monsters, Inc.? I don't remember Monsters, Inc. at all.
Oh, yeah. That's what it's about. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. So this is the same thing.
They're torturing children to screaming in Monsters, Inc.?
Yeah. And
is
then
that what the monsters are
their
for?
screams to fuel their cities. It's their power source.
Good God. Is that what the monsters do? They scare children to get their screams?
Yes.
I mean, I've seen that before. I just don't remember.
Mike Wazowski and Sully go to the factory every day. They're like blue-collar workers. They're in the scare department. They travel into the human world through the closet to scare children.
Oh, my God.
To bottle their screams as an energy source.
That's such a good story.
It's great. It's a great movie.
That's awesome.
And then at the end, they realize, like, oh, wait, their laughter is even more powerful. So they start to make them laugh.
That's great. I love that.
They stole it from this, I think, because these gremlins wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
And then we're like, you know what? There's a better way to live your life.
Fun.
Fix. Don't destroy. Fix things.
Cute. Yeah.
So then I guess little gremlins are working with the Allied forces.
That sounds like a good story.
To take down those dirty Nazis.
Yeah, even with the Nazi element, it sounds like a nice children's story.
I know. It's interesting. Disney almost made a cartoon. They were like working on it for a long time.
Yeah.
Obviously never did.
Yeah.
Maybe in an alternate reality it got made. And then later on, Roald Dahl returned to the subject matter of gremlins. He wrote an adult novel called Sometime Never, A Fable for Supermen.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Bear with me. I'm going to read you the plot of this.
I read one adult, because I really love Roald Dahl's writing. Yeah. I read a short story compilation for adults of his stuff, and it was really unpleasant.
Really?
It was good, but like depressing or like very dark boy. Oh. Yeah. I don't remember. I used to know more about his personal life. I feel like he was a dark boy.
He was a real hombre de la noche.
I think so. I don't know if he was that solid a dude. I don't remember though. I know he had an amazing like quaint writing cottage. Have you ever seen that before?
No.
Oh my God, it's so cool.
Huh.
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
So this is the plot for Sometime Never.
Okay.
A Fable for Supermen. In 1943, a Royal Air Force pilot named. I copied and pasted this, so I hope this is right. Named Peter Nip?
It seems
it's probably safer to assume his name is Peter, right?
It could be Peter Nip. I don't know. He's weird.
Peter Nip. I copied and pasted it. I don't know. Discovers a gremlin drilling holes on the wing of his aircraft. So he sets off with his squadron to unearth the story behind them. Many years ago, it turns out, gremlins were the rulers of the world.
Oh, wow.
But they were forced underground by the spread of humanity and have spent the time since then planning their revenge. They briefly emerged during the Battle of Britain, but the experience makes them decide that humankind would destroy themselves without their intervention. The gremlins wait until the time is right, after World War III.
Oh.
And World War IV.
When is that?
Yet to come.
Yeah.
It still hasn't been proven whether or not Roald Dahl was predicting the future.
Yeah, right. Like what?
After World War IV.
How prescient is this story? Like when does World War III happen?
I know. Maybe people will study this book after World War IV.
I could use the Gremlins right about now.
Yeah. After World War III and World War IV decimate the Earth, they emerge and take over the world.
Wow.
The story ends with the Gremlins, unable to exist in a world without humans, disappearing too. Finally, only the worms remain.
Ew.
So everyone dies. It's all for...
What is this book called again?
Sometime Never, A Fable for Supermen.
A Fable for Supermen.
It's sort of a bleak, I think, idea about, like, we think we're so powerful, but one day we too will be gone.
Is it some sort of... A Fable for Supermen is like, is it some sort of indictment of, like... aggressive, like thinking you've got it all-ness?
It all leads to the end, or maybe. Something, or like worms. If worms rule the world, are they accomplishing as much as we are by ruling the world right now?
Right.
Like, is it all really like one big game that adds up to nothing?
Right.
It's worth nothing. Yeah. Even the worms will do this someday when we're gone.
Boy, sounds like a real uplifting read.
Thanks a lot, Roald Dahl.
Yeah.
For this.
Give me
chilling beach read.
James and the Giant Peach any day.
Yeah, I'll take a bite out of that big old peach. Yeah. Hey, James.
Or Matilda.
Where you been getting them peaches?
Have you ever read James and the Giant Peach?
No. I watched part of the movie and did not like it.
Because it's not that James is just getting peaches.
I thought he was just a nice boy who found a delicious fruit stand.
Hey, James, where are you getting those peaches?
Where are you getting them peaches, James?
He's flying around on a peach in the sky.
James, I wrote a fan sequel, even though I didn't read the book. It's called James and Another Peach.
And His Peaches.
James and Another Big Peach.
Sounds great.
The other one was giant. This one's just kind of big.
Yeah. It's just a really good peach.
This is really good.
Yeah.
The Twilight Zone very famously had an episode where Captain Kirk, William Shatner.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
William Shatner's in an aeroplane.
Yeah.
Peeking out the window, and he sees a monster on the wing. He's like, there's a monster on the wing. And nobody believes him.
You just sound like Magister Blackwell.
How do you sound like William Shakespeare?
I can't do it. Shatner.
Chapstick.
He's like,
There's a monster on the wing.
Yeah, maybe that's better.
Whatever.
Okay.
And then that was done in the movie.
Yeah.
This time with Third Rock from the Sun's dad.
What's his name? John Lithgow?
John Lithgow.
Okay, yeah.
Plays the same role, seeing that gremlin ripping apart the plane.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this. Spoiler alert for this really, really old story. It's kind of cool. So he's peeking out the window, seeing this monster rip apart the plane, this giant gremlin this time. And nobody believes him.
Yeah.
And he's eventually like taken off the plane as like a loony who's like, disrupting the plane ride for everybody and stuff. But the way the story ends is that when the plane lands and they drag him out of there in cuffs, they're going to realize that he was right. Because they'll be able to look at the wing and see signs that something was there.
Yeah.
And it's too late. They don't know what it was.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That is sweet.
That's a cool way for that to end.
Yeah, it is.
Gremlins frequently showed up in Looney Tunes. They were just kind of little mischievous cartoon characters.
I don't remember.
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Had an episode where every time somebody takes a picture with a certain camera, there's a little picture of a gremlin in the corner and something goes kaflooey.
Oh, I kind of remember that.
Yeah. There's an episode of, it's either Studio Rejects or Will and Bobby Know Everything, one of the other podcasts, where Bobby and I reviewed 3 episodes that told the same story about an evil camera. So,
maybe that's why I remember, because all I remember is the camera. I don't remember the gremlin thing in particular.
Oh, really?
Do you mean all Are You Afraid of the Dark? Or
no.
Okay.
There was an evil camera thing from Twilight Zone. Every time you take a picture with this camera, something goes wrong and it tells the future. And then there was a Goosebumps episode with an evil camera and an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode with an evil camera.
I love an evil camera.
Yeah, so we did sort of like a smorgasbord of reviewing how they all handle basically the same story in their own unique way.
Cool.
I thought it was a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
That was Bob's idea.
Yeah.
I wish we could have found other things like that.
Yeah.
All right. Two last things.
Okay.
Put your kids to bed, and if you are a kid,
X-rated,
fall asleep now. Playboy magazine.
Ooh.
I warned you. Evidently, to this day, features gremlins in their magazine.
Really?
Not just any old gremlins.
Sexy ones?
Femlins.
Oh my God.
They're teeny tiny nude pixie ladies.
Okay. What do you mean?
There's a lot of...
They're every month?
A lot of statuettes of them, too.
Every month there are femlins?
I don't know if it's literally every month. I've never read,
where do they appear?
Playboy. I think that
I don't know. They in the corner of a centerfold, being like,
yeah. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I just know that you can look up femlins. They look like little nude ladies, but they're not very defined. They look like mannequins.
Well, what about them as gremlin like?
They're small. It kind of harkens back to the WW2 idea of gremlins, where it's just kind of like little people.
Yeah.
So it's that.
Weird.
A very strange thing to just be like, you don't have a sense of scale. They may as well just be like little nude ladies.
Yeah.
You don't have to point out that they're like mythical creatures.
That's really strange.
It's really weird. It's also weird to just be like, this is a sexy version of that monster.
Yeah. Who's been crying out for a sexy gremlin?
I know, it's strange.
Is that what you're crying for?
Yeah. Crumbs, you want a gremlin?
You want a gremlin?
I can get you a gremlin. And then the last thing, obviously, is the Gremlin movies.
Yes.
The very, very famous Gremlin movies.
Yep.
Steven Spielberg.
They're by Steven Spielberg?
They are.
Huh.
And they are said to be based on the lore of Gremlins, but they follow completely different rules.
Yeah.
The only thing that seems to remain is that they are sabotaging stuff.
Okay.
Which,
I do get the vibe that they're up to no good.
Right.
But lovable.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like to do all
that sexy lipstick one.
Yeah, I think that's in the second one, Gremlins, the New Batch.
Oh, okay.
Where it turns out that their biology is unstable, so you can splice in other DNA, and all of a sudden you have gremlins that are electric. You have gremlins that are spiders. You have gremlins that are...
Oh, man, that sounds like trouble.
It's bizarre. Gremlins, the New Batch, is like a madcap comedy. Gremlins 1 is supposed to be sort of like darkly comedic.
I kind of, even though they have nothing to do with each other, I think that they're from around the same time-ish. I link Gremlins and Cocoon in my mind a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I think I may be wrong about this. I believe Gremlins and Ghostbusters came out on the same day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like a blockbuster weekend.
That sounds kind of right. Yeah.
So Gremlins, the movie, they invent the concept of mogwais, which is where we get Gizmo, that little guy.
They invent that totally?
Yeah. Doesn't exist in any other prior Gremlin,
Oh, I kind of thought that was... maybe not even having to do with gremlins, but I thought that mogwai was some sort of thing.
No, maybe that's a story for another day, but to my knowledge,
no. You're probably right, yeah.
And so you can't feed them after midnight, you can't get them wet.
Yes.
And they quickly find out what happens if you do those things.
They multiply or something?
He creates gremlins.
Okay.
The gremlins that we are all familiar with the sort of reptilian skin, the big bat ears, the disgusting expressive humanoid faces.
Yeah, they are gross.
Yeah, they're very gross.
Yeah.
Gremlins I've seen a million times as a kid.
Yeah.
As probably not past the age of 12 really.
I wonder where I was.
And always interesting, from just fascinated by it, because it was just like they have puppets hanging all over the place. It's just their movies are insane, but also they're disgusting.
Yeah.
They have eggs that pulsate, and
ew.
They the puppets are obviously made out of some sort of rubber material, and frequently they're soaking wet and dripping with goo. It's gross. They're just gross.
Yeah.
Frankly, I want to rewatch them. Now I'm in a really
now you're in a gremlin mood. Yeah.
I am. And then, Gremlins, the New Batch, they kind of dropped the horror angle at all and just went big and insane with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there's hundreds of gremlins all over that movie.
Yeah.
Cackling and laughing and turning each other into other kinds of monsters.
Yeah.
Which I thought was fascinating. The idea that
fascinating character study.
Well, because they're already weird little monsters, but then they're in this laboratory, and so they're seeing DNA for leopards and spider DNA and injecting it into each other to turn themselves into different kinds of it's totally
sounds insane.
It's complete anarchy, insanity. Yeah. They're kind of self-destructive in a weird way.
Why do they have access to this?
Because the second movie just wants to do whatever it wants to do. It takes place in one skyscraper that is a big movie studio and has its own lab in there for some reason. Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
And so gremlins can read?
I guess gremlins are in there. You get Smarty Gremlin or something. I don't know their names. But he becomes very sort of posh.
Oh, that sounds good.
Knows how to read, and he thinks that they're all insane.
That sounds great.
And if I remember it correctly, I think he has but I do want to devour your skin, old boy.
Oh my God.
Like, I think he does say, like, you know, monster stuff, too.
I kind of want to see that.
Just in that voice. Yeah, I really want to rewatch them all of a sudden. And people have been trying to get a third movie made forever. Seems like it's not happening.
Yeah.
They threw Gremlins into Lego Batman, though. They're like...
I don't remember.
Yeah, they're all over the place in Lego Batman.
Gremlins must be some sort of weird blank spot for me.
People love Gremlins. They love them. It's a beloved franchise. It's like
it's so strange that you like watched that all the time when you were a kid. I never saw it.
Yeah.
And that I don't remember them in Lego Batman.
I don't know. Maybe you got your memory erased.
Maybe they got Eternal Sunshine out of my life.
But also very coincidentally, just in the past week, a fan film, a short fan film was put online. If everybody Googles this, look this up on, I don't know if it's on YouTube, but Google it.
Yeah.
It's called Gremlins Recall. And this popped up all over my dork feed.
Yeah.
Because I follow a ton of movie blogs, nerd blogs. Yeah. Everyone was talking about it. It's independent filmmakers. They made a short film about gremlins taking over sort of a small diner. And the thing about it that's pretty remarkable is that they used actual like puppetry. They didn't just like CGI them or anything. It looks very professional, and I'd have to imagine that these filmmakers are going to get all other work off of producing something of this quality.
Good for them. That's awesome.
It's very impressive.
That's awesome.
So that's Gremlins Recall. Look it up. And that is the story of the Gremlin.
The Gremlin.
So if you're flying your planes, be careful.
Yeah, just look out for little blue guys.
Yeah. Just try to take care of yourselves up there.
Will you?
Would you please? Children, you can all wake up now. I should have said that.
Can they?
I should have said that earlier.
Actually, it is the perfect time for children to wake up.
Children, wake up now.
I'm going to tell my story in an interesting way. You know how in movies where sometimes there's an opening scene and something happens and you're like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
And then they're like, bam, 1 week earlier.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, William. I'm going to tell you a little, and it's usually like the exciting thing, and then we'll get back to the exciting thing. Yeah. Okay, William. Have you... Wait. Hang on, let me pause this. Hang on. Stop
the show.
Stop the show. Wait, what's the best way to do this? I want to show you something.
Oh, okay.
And I want to ask you based on this, what you think my topic is.
I love it.
Okay.
I'm very excited.
It's in another language, which is why, it won't be immediately apparent.
Okay.
So maybe just describe what you're seeing on the screen for the people at home and then give a guess.
This will be
we won't watch the entire thing. It's 6 minutes long, but...
This will be like a teeny test for doing a commentary track.
Yeah.
Hello? Can you see me? Can you hear me? It's me, Will. I come from a future where our video was taken down off YouTube because we played the introductory theme song and video of a Dutch show about gnomes called Kabooter Plop. Kristen showed me the video and it was horrible. And there were grave consequences. The people behind Kabooter Plop, a show about old people with long white beards dressed as gnomes, hugging each other and living inside of a mushroom together, hit us with a copyright notice, and as a result, our show was scrubbed clean from YouTube. It was terrible. However, they didn't get us on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, so you can listen to us talk about the show. You can hear our reactions to the video. We just can't show you on YouTube. So I'm recording this video to let you know what got taken from us, what was removed, because we took something from someone else. Okay, I think I said things right now. In case you hear any references to Kabooter Plop in the rest of the episode, that's what it was. Oh, I think I said things right. I'm fading out of existence. This horrible future has been averted. Enjoy the show!
Well, the show is called Kabooter Plop. I maybe it got popular enough that they shortened it to Plop sometimes.
Oh.
William, a kabooter is a Dutch word for a gnome. My topic is gnomes, and we'll get back to Kabooter Plop.
Thank God.
Now.
Kabooter Plop.
Now, to come back around.
Gnomes.
No.
That is very similar to Gremlins. That's weird.
I know.
Totally coincidental.
I don't know what's going on with the coincidences. I was just telling William.
Synchronicities all over the place.
My husband and I both had dreams about Worcestershire sauce on Sunday night.
It was meant to be, clearly.
I'm putting out some strong vibes that everybody else is picking up on.
Hit up that Patreon, because we got to make sure this experiment keeps going. Who knows what depths of the cultural, shared subconscious we're tapping into here.
Seriously, because we're in the flow, guys. We need to stay there.
Crushing it.
So tip us some dollars.
This is officially now the best show any of you have ever heard. Just so you know.
I'm about to ruin that.
This is the greatest show anyone's ever made. Tell people that.
Yes,
Write
please.
blog posts, make a documentary about us. Go.
Do you know about Kabooter Plop? You probably didn't until just now.
Kristen she just changed my life.
Okay, so Gnomes basically started in the 1600s. Why you laugh?
2 reasons. One, it's funny to say gnomes started in the 1600s. That's just a funny sentence. It's not your fault. 2, I remembered that on Book Club Schmook Club, our old podcast, you told a story about how you had a toy of David the Gnome's wife.
Yep.
And how you...
Well, I had David the Gnome too.
Okay.
They lived together.
Also had her.
Yeah.
And her arms were sort of spread.
Yeah, in an inviting manner.
And so you were able to take a combo.
It fit perfectly.
Like those little pretzel treats that have garbage pizza filling in them.
So good.
And put it in her arm so it would be like she's holding it, but you did it because you liked it. You thought it looked like she was holding a loaf of bread.
That's right.
So you did it as some sort of playing for her, that it now looks like she's made a loaf of bread for you.
Yeah.
Did you
Not
make
for me, it was for David.
It was for David. It was for David. Did you ever eat the combo and be like, thank you?
I don't know.
Thank you for providing this loaf of bread for me.
I can just about guarantee you.
It tastes like rockin' pepperoni pizza.
I definitely ate the combo. I don't know if I showed David the Gnome's wife the proper reverence.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I don't even know what David the Gnome's wife's name is.
Huh. Yeah,
Crap.
I don't know.
Yeah, well.
Who knows? That is a good combo, though. David the Gnome and pizza.
Totally. The best afternoon ever.
Great combo. All right.
So, gnomes were mentioned, it seems, first by an alchemist named Paracelsus in the 16th century.
Wow.
And he said that they were an earth elemental.
Oh.
Yeah, so an elemental is something that kind of encompasses one of the elements. So it's a spirit that's all about that thing. So the gnomes were the earth elementals, so they kind of controlled rocks and minerals and natural stuff.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's super cool. They're related to a lot of different things. They're kind of there's overlap between gnomes and leprechauns, goblins, little guys kind of. And so the way they connect to leprechauns is that sometimes it's said that they're protecting treasures in the ground. So it could be gold, it could just be beautiful rocks and minerals and things like that, but that's their domain. And gnomes can walk through the earth underground the same way that we can walk through just the air. I love that.
That's really cool.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
So that's just their domain.
So that's almost like they could walk upside down in there. They're just able to move through the dirt easily?
So. I didn't come at that specifically, but just the way that we walk through air, they walk through earth. It doesn't matter.
Weird.
You know
Cool.
what I mean? It's just that's what they breathe, so to speak, or whatever. It's just their habitat.
It's their world.
Yeah. And so depending on the different, cultural background or whatever, they're either nice or they're mean. They're mostly nice.
Okay.
I will say they want to help humans and things like that. Help with gardening, help plants and things like that grow.
Okay, yeah.
Which is kind of where the garden gnome came from. It started in Germany, a guy made them, and it was initially supposed to be kind of a reminder of the idea that gnomes are helping you and helping plants grow. So you put that in your garden.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. But also...
It feels so obvious in a weird way, but it's also there's a reason.
Yeah, totally.
It just felt like why do you put flamingos in your yard? I don't know, because it's decorative.
Right.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
They want you to grow nice cabbages.
Yeah.
To cultivate the planet.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And they're helping them grow.
Yeah. Cool.
So you want that in your garden.
I'll fertilize your garden.
So yeah, they're usually 6 to 12 inches.
Yeah.
They are super duper strong. They have superhuman strength. They're extremely fast.
Oh.
I know.
That's a little alarming.
Which kind of rang a bell. I'd read that there are two ways that they could turn to stone.
Okay.
Which is part of what I wonder about whether that was the idea for the garden gnome, because it's part of their lore that they turn to stone either if they're out in the world and the sun hits them.
Oh.
That makes them turn to stone.
Okay.
Or if a human sees them.
Weird.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And what other gnomey things? I wish I...
That kind of rings a bell. Was there something like that in David the Gnome?
I was wondering the same thing.
Turning to stone?
Yeah. I'm not sure. It kind of rings a bell to me too.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wonder if the statue aspect of it is being like, no, these gnomes were frozen in my yard.
Yeah, totally.
I killed them by looking at them. Yeah. That's also weird because that feels like it's magic that's about them, but that almost sounds like what we think of Medusa, that she has, like that her eyes will turn you to stone. But maybe it's not that. Maybe it's something about our physiology,
right? That
we're turned to stone if a creature like her looks our way.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Because maybe gnomes would say about people that they have like evil vision. But that doesn't feel true for us.
Yeah, like we didn't do it. It's kind of passive. It's just something within them that makes that happen to them. So maybe it's like we have some gene that when Medusa looks at us, it gets activated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. It brings to mind the idea that sometimes we can behave monstrously without being consciously aware of it.
God.
Just be good to each other.
Will you? The way gnomes look is they're very little, like I said. Mm-hmm. They're known to wear solid, kind of like primary color clothing. Male gnomes have a white beard. Okay. Lady gnomes, when they get to a certain age, if I remember correctly, their hair grows super long, like down to their feet. Oh. So they braid it.
What age is that?
I don't remember. I had it written down.
Weird.
And their hats have a significance in color that I think is very fun.
The pointy hats.
Yeah.
That's what I think of like a gnome as being.
Yeah, gnomes wear a little pointy hat.
Like a dunce cap.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but I think cloth.
Okay.
I think it's got some give to it. A dunce cap's a little stiff.
Okay.
So at birth, baby gnomelings are fitted with a special yellow hat that they wear and annually have resized until they come of age. A gnome's coming of age is generally around 40 years old when a male sprouts a full-grown beard overnight and a female gnome suddenly grows her hair all the way down to her ankles. So it's 40. I do have it.
Weird.
At this time, the gnome must choose the hat that they will wear daily for the rest of their lives and remove only to bathe. The gnome hat is much more significant than a mere item of clothing. The hat is thought to be a reflection of the gnome's being and personality. Gnomish scholars have compiled incredibly detailed tomes enumerating upon the significance of each color, hue, tint, tone, shade, and corresponding meaning. For instance, a brick red hat is thought to be worn by gnomes who value tradition and honor above all else. They thrive on order and live to serve others by performing good works.
Performing good works.
Yeah. And other creatures have come to believe that gnomes draw magical power from their hats, but this is not so. However, they do gain a remarkable sense of security and confidence from their hats, and without it, the effect is noticeable. If a gnome is ever to lose...
You seem a little down in the dumps today, Travis, is
I
all I'm
lost
saying.
my hat.
I just don't feel like I look as good.
I just don't feel like myself, you know?
I just feel weird. I feel like I've been being weird all day. I feel like people are treating me weird. I don't know. I'm just not having a good day, you know? I wish I had my hat.
It's actually worse than that. I just realized.
Oh.
If a gnome is ever to lose his hat, it's like losing a loved one. The gnome will try his hardest to find or retrieve the hat wherever it was lost. In some rare cases, gnomes are so deeply affected by the loss of a hat that the event casts a pallor on the rest of their days. But in all cases, the loss of a hat is a sign that a gnome must reevaluate his life and choose another color that best represents his current standing.
Oh, wow. So he has to pick a hat that means like you're down in the dumps, like you're a piece of crap.
Well, because if you're reevaluating your life, they go either way. It could be that you feel like crap, or it could be like, you know what? I got to pick myself up by my tiny bootstraps.
Yeah, you know what?
Do this, and they pick whatever color is like powerful and rising back up to them.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a new person.
Yeah, look, I lost my hat, but I'm still a gnome.
Yeah. I'm gonna rally.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be all right.
So it could be belying that. So I guess the gnome hats are kind of like the gay hanky system from the 80s.
I was gonna say that.
It's great.
Yeah, like Bruce Springsteen has a red hanky.
Yeah.
Hanging out of his the pocket of his tushy.
Yeah, that's right.
And it means something. Just like
when
the gnomes
Bruce
are like
Springsteen, are you just using it as an example of
yellow hat?
So you're into water play?
Yeah, I like to play in the water.
For
want to
gnomes,
go down to the creek?
For gnomes, that's probably just really like pure and innocent fun.
Of course I like to play in the water.
Who doesn't? We have a creek right here.
It's incredibly refreshing. Yeah. That's great.
Okay, so that brings me...
It sounds like Indiana Jones, where he's always almost losing his hat.
Oh, yeah, he does.
He stops everything to get... Like, risks life and limb. You know?
Well, I guess it's probably a thing because they run so fast. Your hat could fly right off.
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
Yeah, you got to be careful.
So let me now tell you about a very, very scary gnome and his hat.
Yes, please.
Because they're usually nice.
And his hat.
But some of them are mean.
Okay.
Now, this is kind of like... It's a creature. It came up in my studies of gnomes, but as I got further into it, I realized that it's a little bit more classified as a goblin. But he came up in my gnome research.
Part of the gnome world.
He's part of gnome lore, I think. Well, it's not even a he. It's a class of creatures known as redcaps. Have you ever heard of that before?
Yeah, isn't that from
It's in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Which I didn't remember, but I found it in this.
Yeah, they're mentioned along with Hinky Punks.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, redcaps and Hinky Punks. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so they're malevolent, murderous creatures who live in old crumbling Scottish castles.
Whoa.
So
cool.
Yeah. So especially castles that were once places of like murder and tyranny and greed and like bad places, basically.
Oh, they like smell the blood and then they move in.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
So they look freaky deaky. They have like claws that look like mean little old men, apparently, like grizzled little old men with like scary teeth. They have talons on their feet and then like long fingers with claws. They wear iron boots. So it, like from the knee down, it's these iron boots that look like they're in guar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so they're also known as red combs or bloody caps.
Huh.
So if people come to like check out the grounds of the castles that they inhabit, they kill them. They throw rocks and boulders and stuff at them so that they die.
Wow.
And then they dip their little gnome hat into the blood.
Oh.
And that's why they're red caps, and that's why why their hat is red.
Oh my gosh.
And they have to keep doing that. If their hat dries out, they die.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Isn't that awesome?
That's awesome.
Yeah, totally. I'm just scaling to make sure I didn't miss anything about them that's cool. They carry a pike staff in their left hand all the time. They can be driven away if you yell scripture words at them or hold up a cross.
Wow.
Which is very vampire-y. And also, I read something somewhere else that said, like, besides just killing them and dipping their hat in the blood, that they, like, drink their blood. Oh. There are even, like, some instances of, like, cannibalism. But that seems, like, less a part of the lore. Like, maybe that's, like, a more, like, fringy part. The main thing I saw was that they kill people and dip their hat in the blood.
That's such a cool, crazy idea.
I know. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. So J.K. Rowling put that in Harry Potter?
Yes.
So Professor Lupin was going to have them study these little creatures that need to murder regularly so they can keep their hats glistening wet with blood of recent victims.
It says that they're mentioned as goblin-like creatures that lurk in places where blood has been shed.
Oh, so I even get... Wow.
Yeah.
We're tapping into the collective unconscious of the world.
Yeah.
Because when you said they live in Scottish castles where bad things happen, I said they smell the blood and they move in.
Yeah.
And you just confirmed it there.
I thought that you were being serious.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Kristen.
Yeah. There was also
we're
something
mining
that I wish...
data from the world right now. We're writing this sort of like psychic wave.
We're in flow.
This is amazing.
I know. It's sweet. There was something, too, that I saw that said that at some of these castles that there was this practice of kind of like, I can't remember what it was called, so I'm annoyed myself, but like doing like a blood sacrifice, like killing somebody and burying them under the foundation or at the foundation of what you're about to build to kind of like give a gift to the land.
Cool.
So, yeah, I know. So,
wow.
So some of those castles may have had like a body under them.
Wow.
Yeah. Sweet.
That's wild.
So... Now, swinging back to the other side of gnomes.
Are we getting back to plop?
Kabooter plop.
Yes!
So some gnomes are evil, some gnomes are nice. Some are just nice.
Yeah, tell me a sweet story about Kabooter plop.
Okay.
Kabooter plop.
Kabooter Plop.
Yeah.
All right. Also, let me tell you how I chose to do this. I didn't just decide to do elves today.
Gnomes.
I was like, gnomes. I was like, okay, so what should I do today? And I went to like the Wikipedia entry for like legendary creatures.
So I watched 5 episodes of Kabooter Plop on Netflix trying to think about it, and then I realized it was right in front of my face.
And I thought.
So there I am, binge watching Kabooter Plop on Crackle.
So I went to the Wikipedia entry for legendary creatures or something, and you can go through and look A to Z.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'm just going to like flick and land my finger on a letter, and then I'll see if anything captures my fancy. And I hit K, and then I hit Kabooter, and I was like, what is that? And it said that it was like a gnome, elf, dwarf, kind of like in that family. It's the Dutch word for it. And I was like, oh, all right, interesting. I could do gnomes. And then it was like, there's a popular character called Kabooter Plop. And I was like, well, I guess I'm doing gnomes. That's the end of that.
Guaranteed. That's like how people go on vacation. They spin a globe and then stop it at a certain point.
That's exactly what it was.
Cool.
So Kabooter Plop, which means Plop the Gnome, is a children's television show in Deutschland? What is that?
Deutschland.
When you're Dutch, where do you live?
Holland?
Yes, Holland. Okay, so listen to this.
All right.
The show sounds wild.
I can't wait. I'm going to get it on Blu-ray.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see the special features. Okay. Most episodes last about 5 minutes and are set in Plop's Milk Inn.
Ugh.
Which is a toadstool in which he sells plop milk and plop cookies. Or in Gnome Forest.
Yeah.
The stories often involve pranks by naughty Kabooter Kloos, Chore. So that's his name, I guess.
Kabooter Kloos.
Yeah. Each episode starts with Plop lying in bed and reviewing what happened that past day. At the end of the episode, he goes to Gnome Dreamland. Most episodes contain a moral.
Wow.
The YouTube user created... Wait, what does this have to do with this? Okay. Created a we have to cut this. A Mimi. What the hell is this? And then I clicked on that, and that means a mishearing, feigned deafness. Sorry, guys. So it's a term for homophonic translation of song lyrics that is interpreting lyrics in one language as similar sounding lyrics in another language. So
okay,
it's confusing. So he created one of those things of an episode or a song from Kabooter Plop, which he called "But Sit and Fart in the Duck."
What?
I don't know.
Why
anyway,
did he added that to Wikipedia himself.
Yeah.
That YouTube user.
He must have. Sorry, guys. That was really confusing.
That was weird.
Yeah, so
that was like your brain got hijacked.
Yeah,
you know
that
how
was
like
hard.
there are like stories about people like pirating like TV stations, and all of a sudden there's just like a face that floats in from somebody's like home studio.
Yeah,
it was like you just got like,
or like when the Toynbee Tiles guy took over the news station for a minute.
I don't know about that.
You know what? I'm going to say it right here, right now.
Yeah.
Next week, I'm doing Toynbee Tiles.
I can't wait.
All right. So this is now the second time that William knows what I did, and you guys know too. Because I've referenced the Toynbee Tiles twice now.
Yeah.
And I think that I need to get everybody on the level.
Okay. I want to know all about it. I know that you're the person to turn to.
Yes.
Okay.
I love the Toynbee Tiles. Okay. So, but yes, that is like what just happened.
You just got hijacked by this YouTube user to spread his whatever the hell that was.
I should have just not even said anything. But anyway, Kabooter Plop seems like it basically is taking off of the Seven Dwarfs a little bit. The characters in Kabooter Plop are Plop, of course.
Of course, Plop.
There's one named Louie or something, Lazy, Kloos, who's Chore, Quibble, Chatter, and Yum, who's obsessed by food and eats a lot, and Small, Slim, who's the prettiest gnome.
I hope it still is like one of those elderly men with a beard, and they're just like, "Well, you're the prettiest one. You're the prettiest one, Slim."
And
Kabooter Plop.
So, and then I'll end with this. So, a little bit more about kabooters in Dutch, in particular, because I thought that a little bit of their story is interesting. Is that there is a theory that their appearance, little red pointy hats running through the forest, can be attributed to hallucinations from eating mushrooms.
Oh.
And In The Legend of the Wooden Shoes, an old Dutch folktale, a kabouter teaches a Dutch man how to make wooden shoes.
Oh, well, is that maybe the story about like the shoemaker who's like having a hard time getting done with his work and he wakes up in the morning and a pair of shoes are done?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And so there are these little gnomes that are doing his work in the night.
That's right. Oh, duh.
Yeah.
Yes, it is that.
Yeah.
And then also, the Travelocity gnome, which I would say is one of the best known gnomes,
probably true,
is a takeoff of specifically a kabouter.
Really?
Yeah, they have a specific look to them, and the Travelocity gnome is a kabouter gnome.
Wow.
Yep.
So it's the Travelocity kabouter.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Wow.
So you can scoot your kaboot wherever in the world you want to go to, maybe Deutschland.
That's right. Go to Travelocity.com, use promo code PLOP.
Yep.
Maybe it'll work.
See if it works.
Maybe
if it does, let us
If it
know.
works, take a sweet vacation.
Yeah.
Come visit us.
Yeah, come on.
As we just had somebody sit sort of in between us on the YouTube video.
And we're like, so it turned out that plop worked, so this is Dan.
Yeah.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Dan. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
This has been wonderful.
I agree.
I gotta
this
tell
was
you,
great.
I loved it. This is reinforcing like the idea of us even doing this podcast. I think
Yep.
I feel so wildly positive.
Me too.
I can't even tell you. This has been a complete treat for
The
me.
universe is obviously in cahoots with the kaboot.
Yeah, you're right. The universe
And
is
us.
being good to us.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you all so much
Yeah.
for joining us for another episode of Guide to the Unknown.
Yep.
Once again, the one thing that we want to let you all know about this week
Yep.
is the Guide to the Unknown Patreon page.
Yeah.
Download the Patreon app, look us up, or go to patreon.com/GTTUpod
Yep.
if you'd like to donate monthly and help us run this show.
Yeah, it'd be great.
We'd really, really appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's all we ask from you this week.
That's right.
Once again, this has been the greatest show
On Earth.
on Earth. All right. If you want to talk to us, you can obviously do so online.
Yep.
We're at GTTU Pod all over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yep.
You can also talk to us individually.
Yep, I'm at Chillin' Kristen on Instagram and Twitter.
I am at Haunted Sponge. We will be back in 1 week. We're going to talk about the Toynbee tiles.
Yep.
And something else.
Something else.
We'll see. But until that time comes, we must travel.
Yes. Back to the netherworld go we.
I feel great. Me too. I gotta tell you, I was all anxious before this.
Why?
I don't
Just
like
life.
fighting with
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah.
And I felt like nauseous after
Yeah.
arguing with that lady.
I know,
and
I
I
hate
feel
stuff like that.
so positive and
Good.
good right now.
Good, me
This
too.
has been wonderful.
Me too. I was looking forward to this all day.
I'm very happy about this.
Me too.
Yeah. Cool. Good show.
Yeah.